Hey, 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 how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Hey, so it's the journey home. I've been dropped off my awesome child for, oh no, I seem to have to go back. There's someone behind me. Awesome child, dropped her off for her stagecoach thing. Let's see what we can do here. And this morning, anyway, let's see, focus on my road. I'm not looking at you guys too much, but this is the thing. This morning, actually, I was reading the book of Joshua. Some of you all know what that is, some of you aren't. It doesn't actually matter, because what I'm going to say from it kind of means it doesn't really matter. But yes, I was reading the book of Joshua, and it's a story of people reversing everywhere. It's a story of the Israelites who have now forgotten that they were told not to worship anyone else or anything. They were given this land. They were given their territory. They were given their territory, told what to do, but they forgot to do it. Kind of went off path completely, like we do. Yeah, right. and so now they'd kind of got really trapped by the Midianites. Okay, so the Israelites and the Midianites. So the Midianites had really trapped them up and starved them to death. So they were all trapped. They were hiding. The Midianites had refused to give them food, so they were under starvation. They were being treated really badly. So then they remembered their God and they started to kind of pray, oh, please come and save me. Okay, so that's one part of the story. Another part of the story is a guy called Gideon. It kind of gets called from whatever it is that he's doing, and he starts by saying, well, you deserted us, kind of thing, and then I don't have anything. How am I supposed to go and help everybody? And then the Spirit says to him, you know what, you just use what you have to go and do whatever you can. And that was the second part of the story. And then the third part of the story, and these are the three parts that I really want to kind of pay attention to here. Because as I was reading, I was just kind of, opening my mind, opening the heart, opening my spirit to listen into what Spirit was trying to say to us as a community this morning. And the third part of this was, what was the third part? Yes, and then Gideon kind of asks for a sign. Yeah, if it's really you, then you need to give me a sign, man. I ain't gonna do nothing unless you give me a sign. So at this point, he kind of does this whole burnt offering thing. I don't know, all kinds of weird and wonderful sacrifice. I always wonder about such stuff. He's like, really? Anyway, whatever. This was who knows how many thousands of years ago. Or maybe it wasn't real. I don't even know. Well, actually, I do know. But you know what? I don't care. What I'm trying to say here is that I don't mind what you believe around it. I just want you to hear the heart of the story here. That's what I'm asking you to listen to. And it was, and so he kind of comes with this offering. He says to this angel that appears to him to say, hey, stay here until I come back. And so the angel does stick around. He brings the offering, and then the angel kind of touches a piece of rock, and the rock burns into flame. And Gideon is all scared, and he runs away for a bit, but then he comes back. But those are the three parts of this story I particularly want to draw attention to. First and foremost, okay, just imagine forget about whether it's Israelites or Midianites or any of that kind of stuff. What I really want to bring to your attention, as the name of this thing was called, you will not prosper from a place of the wrong kind of service, okay? You will not prosper if you're not on your calling. Actually, a coach of mine used to say that, exactly that. But I particularly want to focus on the fact that there's a particular thing that you're called to do. Okay, I say this every single time. It's almost like those words just kind of trip off my lips these days. But there's a specific thing you're called to do, and you won't prosper until you do it. It's the truth of the matter. The Israelites thought that they knew better. They thought, and we do get to that place where we think that we know better. We know better than what we're designed to do. We know better, and so then we stick with what seems reasonable. We stick with the smaller life because everybody around us is doing it. So we're just going along with the flow, just like the Israelites did. Everybody around them was doing stupid stuff. They forgot who they were called to be. Just the same as we do sometimes. We forget who we're called to be. We go do what everybody else is doing. And it's only a matter of time before you realize that you're not quite prospering in the way you'd hoped. It's only a matter of time that you either settle into being in slavery, or you realize, okay, no, there's more to my life than this. This isn't what I was designed for. A lot of people end up settling for slavery because it seems safer. So you know what? I'm sure some of the Israelites decided to go and sell themselves and just kind of find a peaceful solution by selling themselves to the whoever's. And that's what we do sometimes. You know, we settle down and just settle into a pointless kind of existence. To me, it's modern slavery, where you're not doing what you're here to do. I'm not saying every single person that is employed is in modern slavery. Sometimes it is actually your choice. That is actually what you're called to do. Nothing wrong with that. However, for a lot of us in this particular community, we sometimes have done that. I did that. I was a pharmacist. It was paid slavery, okay? It was me being, I don't know how to do the thing that I'm called to do. I think it's too big, so therefore I will just settle for any old thing that I can get and tell myself that I'll be happy with it. But I wasn't happy with it, okay? And actually it took bankruptcy, it took depression, just like it took this starvation for the Israelites to finally realize you're never going to prosper doing something that you're not here to do. And we can try, though. You can try, and you can settle for the less if you want to. It will always be your choice. Always. But that's number one thing right there that kind of came to my attention, was just this this whole thing that we can't prosper whilst we're not doing the thing that we're here to do. You know what? Some people might be able to, you know, settle into doing any old thing and be happy with it, but we generally tend to self-sabotage. Because for me, okay, I can't blame spirit that I went bankrupt or got depressed. It was my choice. It was my choice. I'd done stupid things, had tried to be something that I wasn't for a very long time, and finally it turned around and screwed me, basically. The truth be told. And so I couldn't prosper doing that. And the truth is, I went then on to do my property business, and I do think everybody should own property, basically. But I made the property business my main concern. And again, in the end, it was just like, I can't do this because this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. And I, again, sabotaged that a little bit as well. Okay, yes, I still have property and we still do it, but differently from the way I was doing it. And again, because again, I was trying to, but this seems more reasonable. Let me just do this thing that everybody seems to be doing and everybody seems to be able to make money from. So, you know, it should be fine to just do this thing. And it was just like, well, no, it's not fine. It's not fine for people like me. I'm coming into the supermarket, but I'll probably sit in the car and finish this first. But, and so, yes, I sabotaged that as well, because it wasn't my call. I can't prosper unless I am actually on call. And you know what? It's taken me a while to finally settle into that, but it's the truth. Can you guys still see me? Yes. So this is the thing. So that was the first part of this, okay? And I would say that to you guys as well. Are you trying very hard to do something that you're not actually supposed to be doing? Or you're trying to settle for something because you're worried, which actually is the third part of this here. You're worried that the thing that you actually really, really, really want to do, the real call on your life, it just seems way big out there. And so it just seems easier to settle. But you know what? At some point, you will get to the point of feeling you'll either have to drown out the little voice inside of you saying, oh, you know, this isn't what you're here for, or you will actually surrender. Wouldn't it be easier to surrender quicker, you know? Maybe, just maybe, consider it. The second part of this was Gideon being told, you know, use what is in your hand to go and create what is in your heart. Actually, I remember hearing that from a Hillsong dude, Brian Houston, actually. I remember him actually doing a whole training and teaching on this when I was in my early 20s, I think it was. But it's exactly right. Because some people say to me, oh, well, you know, I don't have the money, or I don't have the time, or I don't have the this, or I don't have the that, or I don't have blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, what do you have though? Because you do have something. You do have an ability to use what is in your hand right now to start creating what you are called to do. You have an ability to do that. Whatever you say, there is a way. Because, well, it's like one of the things I've been thinking about over the last 2 days, and I even mentioned it yesterday, was this whole, how can I help you guys see that there is always a way to take what is in your heart and actually monetize it? Because I know for a lot of people, the concern is, how am I going to take care of my business? How am I going to take care of my, you know, responsibilities if I'm trying to pursue my calling and all of that stuff? And can I actually do it? Can I actually do it? And Gideon, that was the thing for him as well. Can I actually do it? You need to show me lots of signs, or else I'm just not going to believe you. Can I actually do it? And I know that you can actually do it, because I know this. You weren't created with a particular vision or calling only for you to have to struggle with it. only for you to have to suffer with it. Usually the struggle comes from when you are fighting yourself, telling yourself it's impossible to do. Looking around you and seeing, well, it's not, nobody does anything like this. There's no way it's possible. It's like I was telling myself for ages, I can't sing. I can't do such things because it's stupid. How dare you think that you can do that and actually make a living of it? It doesn't seem practical. And so when you're fighting yourself, yes, there is struggle. There is struggle because you're fighting it instead of just surrendering to the fact that this is what you're called to do. Just get on with it. The crazy thing is that you even want to do it. It's not as if you're fighting for something you want more. You're not. You're fighting for something you want less. Which is kind of crazy. But because you kind of got in your mind that it's not practical, nobody around you does it, nobody does that kind of thing. So you tell yourself, it's not practical. I can't do it. And so then you start fighting for a life you don't even want. It's like, why are you doing that? Why do that? It's just like the same with Israelites. You know, they were treated really well by God, and then no, you know what? Nobody else seems to be worshiping this God, so I'm just going to do my own thing. Basically, oh, well, it's not actually working out for me. Oh, please help me. It's like, why are you fighting for a life you don't want? Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense to me anyway. But anyway, I did it for a very long time, so in some ways it must make some sense, because at the time I thought it was the wise thing to do. I thought I better just be sensible. I have responsibilities. I have people to look after. I have people to send money to, blah, blah, blah. I need to just do stuff that makes money. Who cares about, I'll do the stuff that I really want to do in my spare time. Yeah, until it all went badly wrong. And it's like, if I just surrendered in the first place and figured out a way. And that's the thing. Sometimes you just haven't spent enough time figuring out a way. There is always a way. Always a way. There's always a way to do what you are here to do and at the same time actually make a living from that. More than a living if you want to. There's always a way. It may not look the way you think it needs to look, but there's always a way. And maybe you just need to expose yourself to different ways of thinking in order for you to see what is possible for you. Where am I looking? I'm supposed to be looking down there, aren't I? So for you to see what is possible for you. And I suppose, because actually I'll mention that right now, is this thing that I've been plaguing my mind a little bit about how can I help guys, as in part of Project 334K, how can I help guys to see what is possible? And so at the moment, it seems to be called Side Hustlers on Mission. I like the name, Side Hustlers on Mission. So also I was kind of journaling around it, because I put it out as a workshop yesterday, and today it just felt, no, doesn't feel right. So Side Hustlers on Mission, it might be something, some kind of boot camp, some kind of daily something, videos, things to show you the different options available to you to actually get doing what you're here to do instead of settling for what you're not here to do. Okay, so, and then the third thing here was when this guy, when Gideon talks to the Eunuchs, this sacrifice happened. I just saw something come up on my screen. I don't know what. Hopefully it hasn't affected my ability to connect. Anyway, and then he, what's this? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. And then he, so this whole fire thing comes up and it scares him. And I remember actually once speaking to someone on the phone who had a revelation, a deep revelation of what they were here to do. It was like the fog lifted and they saw the hugeness of the vision. And like Gideon, they ran away. Literally started crying, and then I never heard from them again because he was so big that they just felt completely inadequate, unable to handle it. They were so shocked that I saw so clearly what they were here to do, and they were so shocked at the hugeness of it and how much they desperately wanted it that they hid from it. And I see people doing that all the time, you know, oh, I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what I'm here to do. I don't know my purpose. I don't know this. I don't know. And it's like, yes, you do know. But you are either downplaying it or, well, no, yeah, you are downplaying it. You're telling yourself it's impossible. And so therefore, you're almost like blanking it out. There's this fog around you I don't know what I'm here to do. Of course you know what you're here to do. Of course you do. It's in everything you love to do. It's in all of that. But then sometimes when people see their actual call compared to the life that they've lived to that date, it scares them. And so then you're either looking for someone to blame for why you can't do it, or you're pretending you don't know what it is. And it's like, why would you fight for a life you don't want? Why would you fight to keep a life that isn't satisfying to you? So Gideon, for a second there, runs off. But then, thankfully, gathers his wits about him and carries on. And even though he doesn't feel like a mighty warrior and all of this kind of stuff, he decides to take on that identity. You always get a choice about what identity you choose to take on. Are you going to be someone who complains, or are you going to be someone who elevates? Are you going to be someone who sees the vision and actually starts running towards it, rather than, oh no, you know what, I'll just keep my life just the way it is over here. At least this one I can control. That over there, it just seems too big. It seems too much for little old me. Yes, on your own, maybe. But you're not on your own. You're not on your own. We're spiritual people, right? We're not on our own. We're not on our own. We have access to incredible wisdom. We have access to unlimited power if we will tap into it. If we will get over what we see with our own eyes and actually look at the vision and see it for what it is. And see ourselves for who we are. People on a mission. Driven, determined, spiritual mavericks. I love the word mavericks. Independent thinkers who are called. That is who we are. Will you choose to see yourself that way? Or will you keep saying, oh, I don't have this, I can't do that, I don't know that, oh, you know what, I better just settle for something that I may never prosper completely at, but you know what, I can be happy, I can be okay, and maybe you can. Hopefully you're not listening to me if you're that person, but you know. I am speaking to us, the driven ones, the determined ones who do want to make a difference, and not just, you know what, everybody can make a bit of a difference. The fact that you're alive means you make a difference for sure. And I don't want to diminish anybody's work. But you know what? For some of us, you know there's more than what you're doing right now. Okay? I don't put a measure on what that more is. Okay? Some people it's a very big more, some people it's just a little bit more. Or it's a completely different thing altogether. And yet, I would exhort you to take what is in your hand, or use what is in your hand. Stop looking at all the stuff you don't have. Start looking at the stuff you do have. Start figuring out, using your God-given intelligence to figure out, okay, if I have been given this particular vision, and I know it's my permission, how can I make it a reality that my life is built around this, rather than the vision just trying to fit into my life in the nicks, in the little nooks and crannies. How can I make my life be my vision, be my purpose? How can I make that a reality? Because there's always a way. Always a way. It's like, even, you know, as the Israelites are screaming out to God for help, he's looking at Gideon saying, hey, you are the one that is going to go forward and help them. So there's always a route of escape. Always. There's always something or someone coming to help you out. But are your eyes open to see it? Are your eyes open to see it? I suddenly realize I'm looking at the wrong place again. I'm supposed to be looking here. Are your eyes open to see where your salvation is coming from? Are your eyes open to see it, or are you running away? Oh my God. Are we still there? Or did it kick me off? I'm still here, okay. And you fought long and hard to get where you are. The idea of then trying to fight again to get where you're actually born to be, it seems too much. Sorry about that, man. It all seems too much. I need to look where I'm supposed to be looking. It seems too much, and so there's a part of you that wonders, oh, okay, you came back. I wasn't sure if it would. Okay. Anyway, ultimately I'll bring this to a close, but to say this, 3 things. You won't be able to prosper if you're not actually on call, okay? If you're not on the mission that you are here on this planet to be. We're spiritual people, okay? Let's not deceive ourselves into thinking that we're just the same as everybody else. Let's not deceive ourselves into thinking that we can just settle and do some kind of work that doesn't actually make us come alive. And let's also not settle for doing the work that we're here to do without being able to look after ourselves, as if struggle is supposed to be our birthright because it's some kind of spiritual thing. It's not. It's not at all, okay? There is a way around it. If you are willing to get on the narrow path, stay on the narrow path until you get to where you are called to be. Number 2 is that you can use what is in your hand to create the calling, the vision, the mission, all of that stuff. It starts where you are. It starts where you are. You don't need to have 20 million pounds in order to start something. You don't need to have more than what you have right now. You just need to be willing. You need to be willing to be open to seeing different ways of doing things. If you're willing to see different ways of doing things, then it will become your reality. Number 3 is that you may be scared by the hugeness of your vision, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it, okay? It doesn't mean you should run away. It means stay on track. Know that you're not alone in it. Know that that a route of escape is being planned out for you anyway, and that you, again, just need to be willing. You need to be willing to actually live out the call in your life. You need to be willing to see that maybe all this one that you've been trying to do to seem safe, maybe, just maybe, it's not safe for you, particularly you. I don't care about anybody else. I'm talking to the driven, the determined spiritual mavericks. I'm not talking to anyone else, okay? So for us, we cannot settle into a life that isn't about our calling. We cannot do that. So let's just stop fighting who we are and just surrender. Because as we surrender, we get access to incredible wisdom. We get access to incredible power to just stay on track, to stay on the narrow path, to create our destiny. And I know some of this stuff sounds wishy-washy, but the truth of the matter is I'm a very practical person. Very, very practical person. And I take the vision out of you, out of myself as well. And I actually make a very practical thing where you're actually making a difference to someone, because the only way you make money is if you're serving people. Okay? So we want to make your vision, your calling, a very practical thing that is of use in the world. We're not trying to be so spiritual that we're completely useless, basically. Oh, so heavenly minded, we're no earthly good. No, that's not the point. The point is to accept what you're called to do and to figure out a way to monetize it. That is the point, okay? Because whatever you like to, no matter how spiritual you think you are, you need money. Your family needs money. All that stuff. It's practical things. Spirit is very aware of this. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to play small. I belonged to a church once where you're not supposed to use your giftings to make money from. It's like, what? So I'm supposed to spend my whole time doing something I hate so that I can maybe spend an hour or 2 or 3 in maybe doing stuff that I like? That makes no sense. And it doesn't make any sense, okay? And maybe you have been brought up in that way of thinking. It makes no sense, okay? There's a reason you have a particular vision, and it's not so that you'll suffer. It's so that you're able to create something amazing from it and make a difference on this planet, live to the fullness of your potential. So if you're ready, then it's time to surrender. I'm not saying you need to drop everything. I'm saying you need to create space, though. Create space for it. And yes, Side Hustler with a Mission is definitely going to be coming out. I think that's probably what's going to be. That feels a bit more right. Side Hustler with a Mission. So that's going to come out, and it's going to give you, because the idea here is to help you see what is possible if you surrender. I want to show you how simple it can be to start making money doing what you are called to do. Okay? That's the point of this. Again, because I know in this community, sometimes there's just this lack of self-belief. There's this lack of, is it possible for me to do this thing? I do wholeheartedly say yes. And in fact, I say again, unless you are doing this thing, you will feel out of place. You will feel on the wrong path, because you are on the wrong path for you. Okay? Okay, so on that note, I'm going to bring this to a close. But whilst you're waiting for that, if you haven't got my Freedom book, go get the Freedom book, okay? It's completely free at the moment. I'm giving it away for free. It's at rosemarynonnynight.com/Freedom book. And if you haven't subscribed to be told when I'm doing these live streams, you need to subscribe, okay? So that Facebook tells you when I come on live. That way you can hear all my awesome wisdom. If I do say so myself. Not proud at all. Okay? Okay. So on that note, guys, I'll leave you with the thought that you will absolutely prosper when you choose to live out the call on your life. So why not surrender and start living it out right now? It's time to fight for and to deliberately design the life you were born to live, because you absolutely want to. Much love, my honeys. Go forth and prosper. Bye.